Kingdom for her statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of France.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I first of all wish to thank the Secretary General of the United Nations for his statement 2 days following the statement he made when he warned us about just how grave the situation was. I wish to also thank the Assistant Secretary General, Mr. Miroslav Zięcia, and I thank the Director General for the International Atomic Energy Agency, Mr. Rafael Grossi. I thank them all for their briefings that bear witness to the extremely grave nature of the situation. Madam President, it is with concern that France learned of the strikes conducted by the United States against 3 nuclear sites in Iran. France did not participate neither in the planning nor conduct of these operations. We urge all parties to demonstrate the utmost restraint and to prevent any and all risks of escalation. Now is the time for strikes to cease, for de-escalation and for negotiation. Civilian populations must be spared at a time when strikes exchanged between Iran and Israel have produced too many civilian victims. We particularly call upon Iran to refrain from all reprisals, to cease its nuclear escalation and to opt for diplomacy, as we encourage them to do on last Friday in Geneva. That was also the message conveyed by the President of the Republic, Emmanuel Macron, to his Iranian counterpart during a talk today. It is of imperative importance to guarantee the region's stability. The President of the Republic also spoke today with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the Sultan of Oman, the President of the UAE and the Emir of Qatar to convey that we were fully engaged on this matter. The conflict broadening in scope would pose a grave risk to Israel's security, for the security of the region, and for international peace and security. That is the common message espoused by the President of the Republic and shared with Britain and Germany and their leaders. We took note of the statements made by the IAEA, according to which no increase in levels of radioactivity had been seen around the sites struck. I here support France's full support for the DG of the IAEA and its personnel. Once again, in difficult circumstances, the personnel and the Director General are demonstrating their professionalism and devotion. Iran must, as a matter of urgency, return to the path of full cooperation with the agency. Madam President, we've always affirmed that Iran must not and could not ever obtain a nuclear weapon. Iran acquiring such a weapon would constitute a threat for the security of Israel in the region. It would also pose a direct threat to the security interests of France and Europe and would imperil the international non-proliferation architecture. France's position has remained unchanged for more than 20 years. There is only a diplomatic solution to the crisis provoked by the Iranian nuclear program. That conviction in recent days prompted France, alongside its E3 partners, to take the initiative of discussions with Iran. The Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Jean-Noël Barrot, was in Geneva on Friday for that meeting with his Iranian counterpart and his partners in E3 and the European Union. In that framework, we once again voiced our concerns sparked by the Iranian nuclear program. The dangerous escalation of that program has been documented in recent years by IAEA. They said they were not able to assure its exclusively peaceful nature. We reaffirmed our resolve to ensure that Iran never acquire a nuclear weapon in accordance with its obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty and the 2015 agreement commitments. We have expressed our desire to continue discussions with Iran to allay concerns raised by the Iranian nuclear program and to address more broadly the security problems posed at a regional level by the destabilizing actions of Iran. This conviction remains today. Only a negotiated diplomatic solution can allow for a lasting settlement to the Iranian nuclear issue. France remains ready to contribute alongside its European partners to seek such a diplomatic solution. We must return to negotiations with a view to achieving a robust, verifiable and long-term solution, vital in order to allow the agency to assure that the Iranian nuclear program is entirely peaceful. That is not the case today. That is the only way that we can guarantee the stability of the region and global peace and security. Madam President, let us never forget that the region in Gaza is already facing a protracted war with devastating humanitarian consequences. We call for an immediate ceasefire. for the unfettered delivery of humanitarian aid throughout the Gaza Strip and for the immediate unconditional release of hostages. France remains determined to move towards the implementation of a two-state solution, the only solution liable to allow the Palestinians and Israeli people to live in peace and security. We will continue to work towards a resumption of the conference mandated by the General Assembly. France will co-chair that conference with Saudi Arabia. Madam President, this Council will meet once again in 2 days to consider the implementation of Resolution 2231. That meeting must stand as an opportunity for this Council and for Iran to reaffirm their commitment to diplomacy and the spirit of negotiation which prevailed and allowed the conclusion of the 2015 agreement. I thank you.
I thank the representative of France for